Say you wanted a Tudor BB58 Homage and couldn't decide which one to get due to the vast selection of them out there. It seems like every Chinese watch brand has one. Well, your choice just got a bit harder. Enter the new contender, the new Militado ML06. A BB58 Homage that combines vintage dive watch aesthetics with modern materials and manufacturing. In this video we are going to go over everything there is to know about this watch, all the specs, measurements, the pros and the cons, including one very surprising feature that even the OG watch doesn't have. I bought this watch directly from Militado, though for the sake of full disclosure, they did let me have it at a discounted price. Make of it what you will, you are always going to get my own honest opinions on any watch I review. 3 variations are available for Militado's first diver: vintage, vintage with a date complication at the 6 o'clock, and monochrome. All go for $149 and you'll find the link in the description of this video. For that money you get a nice travel case, textured and branded. Inside you'll find a warranty card, a strap removing tool, and an instruction manual that has nothing to do with this watch. While the BB58 comes in 41, 39 and most recently 37mm, the Militado splits the difference between the latter two with a case diameter of 38mm. Its thickness is 13mm including the domed crystal, the distance between the lugs is 20mm, with the bracelet tapering down to 16 at the clasp. Lug tip to lug tip is 46mm, and after taking 4 links off the bracelet, the watch weighs 132 grams. Water resistance is a proper 200 meters. Looking at the matte black dial, well, you already know this design. It's nothing too original, but I think Militado did a good job with it. It differs from the original Black Bay by not having its indices applied, leaning more towards the vintage ancestor of the legendary diver. The indices are made up of luminescent material, thickly applied directly to the dial. A downwards facing triangle marks the 12 o'clock position, batons mark the 3, 6 and 9, and circles mark all other hours. Besides the indices we have some other elements on the dial printed in gold color paint, a minute track surrounding the dial, the brand's name under the 12 o'clock triangle, and automatic 200 meters 660 feet above the 6, referring to the water resistance. The hands are classic snowflake style hands, which allows them to pack a decent amount of lume. They are gold colored, highly polished, and seem to be perfectly proportioned to the dial. One thing I can't look past is that the color of the lume on the hands is different from the color of the lume on the indices. It's a bit lighter. We'll see that slight variation again when we get to the lume shot. Covering the dial is a domed sapphire crystal, with clear anti-reflective coating applied for increased readability. Judging by the specific way it distorts and slightly magnifies the dial, I gather it's a single domed crystal rather than double domed. It looks good and really complements the vintage aesthetics of the watch, but I personally prefer the look of a double domed crystal. The case is made of 316L stainless steel, and for a watch costing $150, it is well finished. Most of its surfaces are brushed, but there's a highly polished chamfered running along its edges, giving it that extra pop of elegance. While many Tudor homages, and indeed many Tudor watches, are slab-sided, meaning they appear flat and tall from the side, this Militado looks rather slim, which I appreciate. The crown is oversized and unprotected, as it should be on a vintage-inspired diver. It screws down to help with the water resistance, gnarled and polished on top. The actual gnarled part is slim, and to make it easier to operate, it is also raised from the case. The coinage of the stainless steel bezel is slim as well, and to make it easier to grip, it is slightly wider than the case and overhangs off of it. It houses a matte textured ceramic dive time bezel insert, with all of its markings sharply engraved onto it and filled with lume. The iconic red triangle that marks the 12 o'clock position of the bezel has a little lume pip applied on its center. This is a 120 click unidirectional bezel that operates better than many other Chinese watches I've seen at this price point. It has a good amount of tension and little to none freedom or backplate to speak of. My only minor disappointment is that it doesn't align perfectly with the dial. At least on the unit I have here, it is ever so slightly off to the right. Round the back we find a solid stainless steel case back that screws down and is completely sterile. The lume is listed as C3 Superluminova, but considering the warm patina color it has when the lights are on, it is more likely that it is old radium Superluminova. The actual luminescent effect is good, and it's always nice to see a fully lumed bezel. We can again see here how the lume on the hands is slightly different from that of the dial markings, and frankly, it is better on the indices. Beating away at the heart of this watch is a Seiko NH35, the go-to Japanese automatic movement when reliability and affordability are in mind. It sports 24 joules, beats at 21,600 beats per hour, hacks and hand winds, has 40 hours of power reserve, and a stated accuracy of -20 to +40 seconds per day. You can't go wrong putting this movement in your affordable watch. Oftentimes you'd find that the bracelet is where affordable watch brands cut their costs to keep the price of a watch down. I'm very happy to say that this is definitely not the case here. The bracelet is surprisingly good. This is a solid links solid end links bracelet, which to be honest we've grown to expect from Chinese watch brands at this price point, so no surprise there. What I didn't expect is a 5 links bracelet. Yes, these are 5 links in each row, with the smaller ones at the edges polished and the main 3 brushed, with actual screw rivets holding these links in place. As far as I know, and do correct me if I'm wrong, not even the real deal BB58 has actual rivets, but rather pretend ones that are parts of the links rather than the screws. On top of that we also have female middle links of the end links, which make the watch wear true to its lug-to-lug size of 46mm. The bracelet is fitted with a fully milled fold-over clasp that closes with friction and a security latch. It is brushed on top and polished on the sides to match the rest of the bracelet, and like the crown and case back, it is unbranded. It has 5 holes for micro adjustment on the inside. Perfect fit is practically guaranteed. I absolutely love 38mm dive watches. I get that for many a dive watch should be big and bulky, but for me on my 7-inch wrist, at 38 it hits that sweet spot where it isn't too big, but not too small either, though it still has a lot of presence on the wrist. Legibility is good, there's good contrast between the broad hands and the dial, and with the assistance of the AR coating on the crystal, reading the time is very easy to do at any lighting condition. I said it before and I'll say it again, black dial divers are strap monsters. And this one is no different. Here are a few options that will help you give a new look to your watch. With the most common 20mm lug width, you are not short of options and you can play around with different looks. Pros and cons time? Pros first. For starters, this is a good looking watch. It is also well made, especially when you consider the price. For $150 you get a watch fully constructed of stainless steel with a very good riveted bracelet. You get a domed and AR coated sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance with both a screw down crown and a screw down case back, a lumed ceramic bezel insert, a workhorse automatic Seiko movement, and Superluminova lume. With that said, there are a couple of things I'd like to see done differently. The color difference between the lume on the hands and the dial is pretty obvious. It is not very pretty to look at. I think Militado would do better by making it more unified in future versions. Like I said, single domed crystals are not my favorites. For me, it's double dome or no dome. I can also mention the ghost date position on the crown, caused by the NH35 having a date complication that doesn't get utilized on this watch, just because I know some people are really bothered by it. I personally couldn't care less about it. I just don't see how having a ghost position affects my experience with the watch, especially when it's an affordable one. NH35s are much more readily available than proper no-date NH38s, making it possible to keep the price of a watch down and producing it in larger quantities. Bottom line, I'm impressed. Sure, it's not a perfect watch, but this one is definitely a worthy contender if you're looking for this type of watch. If this is the quality Militado delivers, I'm looking forward to checking out some more of their watches in the future. In the description of this video you'll find links to this watch on both Militado's website and official AliExpress store. The AliExpress link is going to be an affiliate link. It will not cost you anything extra, but will help the channel with a small commission. So thanks in advance if you do decide to use it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my affordable watch collection, and hit the notification bell for more affordable watches related content. If you've enjoyed this video, you might enjoy one of these too as well. I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.